Bulls Nation, off of a very weak 2-game losing streak for the Chicago Bulls, where we played some of our worst basketball that we've played all season. We had a game against the Toronto Raptors today, and the Chicago Bulls bounced back very well. And hopefully we can see that type of performance that we saw against the Toronto Raptors in future games to come. So what did we do well, and what didn't we do well? Let's talk about the Chicago Bulls versus the Toronto Raptors in this video. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Chicago Bulls video in relation to the game we just played today against the Toronto Raptors. Two very bad games back to back against the Miami Heat and the Philadelphia 76ers. A game against the Raptors, a short-staffed Toronto Raptors missing some of their best players, and the Bulls needed to take advantage of this game, and thankfully they managed to take advantage of this game. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls, the way that we played today, the changes that we made today, and your player of the game overall. The Chicago Bulls played extremely well today, and it will show in the scoreline for this game as the Bulls beat the Toronto Raptors 118-95. And I know that the Toronto Raptors are not particularly healthy at the moment. They didn't have Pascal, they didn't have Van Vliet, they didn't have a bunch of their players in today's game, which is very unfortunate, and I think they've been dealing with this for quite some time now. But the Bulls needed to take advantage of what's put in front of them, as do many teams have to when they put games like this together. I know many people will see this as a cheap win or a win that's expected, and that's okay. These are the games that the Bulls should be winning. We saw something today that was unfortunately not at its best. We saw the Toronto Raptors at a weakened state, and the Chicago Bulls decided that they needed to take advantage of that weakened state and play the way that they should have been playing against Philly and against Miami. Now, this is a confidence booster of a win, in my opinion. This is a win where everybody played well. This is a win where we moved the ball. This is the win where we limited turnovers, and this is a win where I thought we should be very proud of how we played. And that is something that we haven't seen often with this team over this I guess 3-game stretch. We haven't seen too many positive play from really anybody, maybe besides Zach, Larry, and Thaddeus Young. No one else really had that courtesy to step up to the plate as much, not met too much positivity to discuss about in those 3 games. But this game especially was a game that the Bulls have a lot to be proud in. And again, it's against a team that we expected to beat. The Toronto Raptors are a weakened state, but the Bulls had to win this game. The Bulls need to show a little bit of pride over their last 2 performances compared to this one, and I think they did that very well. This is not a win to get overly excited about. It was a very good game to watch if you're a Bulls fan. We made a lot of shots, we got a lot of good passes, and we broke down Toronto's defense bit by bit every single quarter. And Toronto was close for a lot of that game. And the Bulls in the third quarter, Patrick Williams had an amazing scoring burst in today's game, and the Bulls just ended up running away with it, which is great to see. And hopefully that can continue to be the case for many games to come. So, when you're talking about the Chicago Bulls, what was different compared to this game to the other 2 games that we faced where we did lose pretty convincingly? And I think the answer that you're probably looking for is, again, balanced scoring. This is one of the most balanced scoring performances the Bulls have had all season. Nearly every single player that played in today's game, consistent minutes, had over 10 points, which is a very good team display from everybody involved. So the team overall deserves a big pat on the back for how they played in today's game. They balanced it out. There was scoring from everybody. Everybody played well. And I do like the changes Billy Donovan made in the starting lineup. If you didn't watch this game, we changed our starting lineup. 2 players came in and 2 players moved to the bench. And I thought this was a terrific move from Billy Donovan, and one that I think should continue to be the case for a little bit of time. Experiment with it, see how it works. If it works well, continue to use it. If it doesn't work well, then make other changes. Maybe there's a trade involved to help those changes. But so far in this game, granted, it wasn't the best game to really show how good this could be, but we put Satoransky in for Kobe White, which I think a lot of people have been asking for a little bit more playmaking in that starting lineup. Satoransky does give that. and we put Thaddeus Young in the starting lineup for Wendell Carter. And I think that is probably a well-deserved change as well for Thaddeus Young, who's been balling out. If anybody deserves to start on this team, Thaddeus Young is the guy. So I'm very happy with those changes, and I think those changes might have been needed. And both players played very well. Satoransky played very well, and Thaddeus Young, of course, played very well. It seems to be the norm with these players, how well they play. So fantastic to see for everybody on the Chicago Bulls. But again, I talked about balanced scoring. Let's look at the balanced scoring that I'm talking about. So, Thaddeus Young, before I go into individual performance, I just want to talk strictly about the points. Thaddeus Young, 10 points. Larry Markkinen, 13 points. Patrick Williams, 23 points. A big game for Patrick Williams. Satoransky, 10 points. Zach Levine, 15 points. Then you move to the bench. Otto Porter, 11 points. Wendell Carter, 12 points. Kobe White, 13 points. Valentine, 11 points. And I think the only player that didn't have over double digits that played today was Luke Cornett, who only played a few minutes in this game, and Ryan Arcidiacono, who played 11 minutes and had 0 points. So, balanced scoring. This was a team that moved the ball extremely well, and everybody got their shots in this game and everybody got their scoring. And that's what I want to see. I want to see more balanced scoring. Now, of course, having every single player get over 10 points is a big bonus on this team. This is one of the most team-oriented wins that I've seen all season for the Chicago Bulls, and that's very good to see. Of course it is. But I'm not expecting every single player to get over 10 points. What I'm expecting is other players to step up when our starters are struggling. Zach Levine didn't have a fantastic scoring night, but he didn't need to, because he had players that was backing him up today. He had Larry Markkinen making threes. He had Patrick Williams making very, very, very good cuts and making the right decisions on the floor. He had Thaddeus Young and Satoransky in the starting lineup helping him out. Wendell Carter and Kobe White, in my opinion, had great games off of the bench. Wendell Carter was a man on a mission on that bench as soon as he came on. In 2 minutes or something, he had 7 points, 2 blocks, 3 rebounds. Was absolutely sensational coming off of that bench. This was a change that helped the team, and this team benefited from very, very good balanced scoring. And this is the team that we are. We are a team that needs to get everybody involved if we're going to win or lose games. If we lose games, it's mainly because too many people are not involved in the plays. When we win games, everybody seems to be involved, everybody seems to be finding each other, everybody seems to be playing the way that we should be playing. And I think that's the biggest part to take away from a win like this. There's always a positive in a win. And no matter how good or bad the team is, you have to look at your team, how they play, and the positives that you take away from that. The positives I take away from that is that the balanced scoring of this team and the changes of this team, I think, really helped the Chicago Bulls. And again, we now have a little bit of momentum to carry over into future games. So let's see what the Bulls could do. Let's see if the Bulls capitalize from this. Let's see if the Bulls are able to find the capability to perform like this consistently. We need consistent performance like this if we're going to win a lot more games of this team with this team. And we have 2 games coming up that I believe are very winnable. So the Chicago Bulls need to fight back, need to fight and be consistent with how they play. If they play like this consistently, I can see us winning a lot more games than those last 2 games that we lost. But if we can't do that, then we're going to be a team that's inconsistent like we've been all season. So it's time for the Bulls to figure it out. If that's how they're going to play, I'll be more than happy. But we shall wait and see. Of course, with better competition, games like this will be much harder to come by. Let's look at the individual performance today. And it's going to be hard. I'm going to be targeting everybody, so I'm going to try and keep it short for every single player. First things first, on to the starters. Thaddeus Young, 10 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. Thaddeus Young started the game today, and Thaddeus Young played very well. Out of everybody that deserved to start, he was the guy that deserved to start. I'm very happy that he got his start, and I think this might be the move to continue to do with the Chicago Bulls. Billy Donovan, I believe this was rumored before the game that we were going to make these changes so we can get off to a quick start to nullify the slow starts that we've had in the first quarter all season. And we didn't really do that. I still think we started slow, but so did the Raptors. And I think in the end, that really helped us. And Thaddeus Young did play a big part in this victory today. Larry Markkinen, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist. He got 1 steal and 1 block in today's game as well. I think, despite what the starting lineup commentator said, Larry Markkinen played center today. Nearly every single time when he was on the floor, he played center today. And I think he could be a very good center for this team. Again, he has the size for it. He's a 7'1" power forward. Realistically, he moves very quickly for his size. He's an offensive threat. I thought he played decently today, and he got a little bit more rebounds in that position than what I expect Larry Markkinen to get. He's not necessarily a terrific rebounding player. So I thought he played decently today. Again, the shooting wasn't necessarily there, let's be honest. He shot 2 from 9 from the 3-point line and 4 from 12 overall. That's not a terrific scoring line stat. But again, I thought he played extremely well. I thought he played into himself, and I definitely thought at the beginning of the game, he was a real threat to the Toronto Raptors. So very, very good to see Larry Markkinen continue to keep up that level of performance. And again, it's about the scoring balance. Larry Markkinen had a fantastic 2 games in his last 2 games. And this one, he didn't need to have a terrific game, and he didn't have a terrific game, but he still played at his level, and we still got the win, and he still contributed in a very big way in a different position for him starting in that game. So I thought he played decently today. Patrick Williams, 23 points for Patrick Williams. I believe that's a career high for Mr. Patrick Williams. Congratulations to him. He had 4 assists and 6 rebounds. He had a steal and a block as well. Patrick Williams, this is the best game we've seen from Patrick Williams. Erupted in the 3rd quarter, carried things over in the 4th quarter as well. And we need to see that level of performance. He set the standard for himself now. That is the standard that Patrick Williams has set for himself this season. And that's the game that he should be aspiring to get every single night. There needs to be plays run for him. He is a very good offensive player, and he's shown it today with his ability to slash, his ability to dunk. He made some decent passes in today's game. 4 assists for Patrick Williams. Not usually known as a guy that likes to move the ball around, but he definitely did that in today's game and made some beautiful passes, might I say, as well. A pass to Satoransky that was absolutely amazing. Playmaking genius from Patrick Williams with that play. And overall, this was his best game, and let's see if he can keep that level up or somewhere near that level, because if he can keep up that level with Zach LaVine getting more points than what he did today, Larry Markkinen getting more points than what he did today, and maybe the balance of this team still continuing to be the way that it is, we could definitely win a lot more games. So let's see if Patrick Williams can keep that up. Satoransky, 10 points. He had 7 assists and he had 6 rebounds. Nearly a triple-double for Satoransky today. I thought he played well. I thought he fit that starting lineup role decently. He wasn't aggressive compared to many other games off of the bench, but he doesn't need to be. There's so much scoring power in that starting lineup. Satoransky was the officiator. Satoransky was like the facilitator in many ways. He was the playmaker in today's game with his 7 assists. And he definitely took his open shots. And as a point guard, I think at this point in time, that's what we need. And let's see if he can keep that up. I'm assuming he'll be starting in our next few games. Let's see how he does in our next few games. And Zach LaVine, 15 points. He had 3 assists, 6 rebounds. He had a block, but he also had 3 turnovers. So his 3 turnovers to his 3 assists. I still believe he had the most turnovers on the team today. Regardless of that, 15 points. He didn't need to be the guy today. Like, what I liked about Zach LaVine is I think he understood that everybody on this team was firing and firing very well. So he didn't need to be the guy. And he wasn't the guy. He tried to move the ball along, facilitate a little bit more, and get his shots when it came to him. He didn't force anything, and he definitely allowed his teammates to continue to ride that hot streak that they had all game. So I respect Zach LaVine for what he did. He doesn't need to get 28, 30, 40 points to be effective. And I thought he was very effective today. And I thought the pressure was lifted off of him to do everything. So again, when balanced scoring comes around, Zach LaVine, it becomes a lot easier for him to play this game. And when the Bulls are helping him like that, it becomes easier for him to do what he does. And he was, I believe, the biggest plus minus on the team today, besides I think Kobe White. I think Kobe White had a very good plus minus. So there you go. Zach LaVine was definitely a big part of this win as well. Otto Porter, 11 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Good to see Otto Porter finally get his scoring back. last 2 games was an absolute struggle, and I thought, my goodness, I don't think we're going to see the best of Otto Porter this season. Had 11 points today. He's getting healthier. You can excuse his poor performances from injury, still not shooting effectively from 3, but slow and steady. He played much better than he did in his last 2 games, and hopefully that will be a good motivator for him to carry it over. Wendell Carter, 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 1 assist. What can I say? A double-double for Wendell Carter off of the bench, playing 19 minutes today. And again, maybe that benching helps motivate him, helps him get a little bit of motivation to get that starting role back. And again, we need competition in this team. Competition for places will allow this team to excel, because everybody will be fighting their hardest to get that starting spot, to get their spots back. Wendell Carter is one of those people that did very, very well in today's game, especially in that first quarter when he came in. The bench did very, very well in this game. Big part, Wendell Carter played extremely well today coming off of that bench. And let's see if he can continue that. We need consistency out of Wendell Carter now. It's good to have these games every now and then, that's fine. But you need to do it consistently now. That's how you're going to get your spot back. That's how you're going to get a future on this team to continue to move that wave. Let's go to Kobe White in today's game. He had 13 points, 4 assists, 5 assists and 4 rebounds. He had a block as well, and I believe that was a very good game from Kobe White. I specifically remember that block as well. I couldn't believe he got that block. But regardless of that, I thought Kobe White was another player that played well on this team. That's how I saw it. I saw Kobe White playing well, made some threes in this game. He got his offensive stat. There was a good play over Kyle Lowry when he did a nice dribble combination and took a nice floater in the lane to get the Bulls 2 very good points. Very stylish play from Kobe White. And again, I think he's better as a scorer. I think we all know this by now, but he's still facilitating. He got 5 assists in today's game. I thought he played very free as well today. I understand he still played a lot of minutes, and with the minutes that he played, maybe 13 points isn't the best. But keep in mind, he had the biggest plus minus in today's game as well. I think he had plus 24, which is the highest by far on anybody on this team. So when Kobe White was playing off of that bench, when Kobe White came off of that bench, he was the most effective player in today's game. So there's big praise that goes out to Kobe White. And the last player, Denzel Valentine, 11 points in today's game. He had 2 assists, 5 rebounds, and 1 steal. He got very hyped in the fourth quarter, making that shot. Again, a heat check moment. And again, just shows that he has been very good this season, and he should be getting the same amount of minutes as he did in the first half of the season. I don't want to see garbage time minutes for Denzel Valentine. I think he's earned his spot in the rotation consistently. And I think he's showing it once again, that he's proving he can be in that rotation consistently, and the Bulls will still do well, or at least he will do well for the Bulls. And that's the team. I mentioned every single player on this team, bar a few. So very, very long, I guess you could say, a very long individual performance review on all these players and how well they did. The must improve for this game, there's really no one to target. I guess you could target Arcidiacono for playing 11 minutes and only having 0 points. But every single player on this team did very, very well. So I'm just going to leave it at that. We played well as a team, and there's not really that much to target out of anybody on this team. So fair play for the Chicago Bulls in its entirety. And the player of the game, I'm going to give it to the rookie Patrick Williams. I know it should probably go to Thaddeus Young, in my opinion. Many people might give it to Thaddeus Young. Even Kobe White might have a shout for it. Zach LaVine has a shout for it. But this is the best game for the rookie Patrick Williams. And I think he deserves it, man. I mean, he's did a lot in this game, especially on the scoring end and defensively as well. So if there's any time to give it to Patrick Williams, today would be the game to give it to Patrick Williams. And I definitely think he deserves it in today's game. I thought he played very, very well. And I hope this standard of performances for Patrick Williams is the bar that he will try to reach consistently every single game. And we will see a much better Chicago Bulls for that. So congratulations, Patrick Williams, on your best game for the Chicago Bulls. And hopefully we'll see many more brilliant games to come out of him. The Bulls' record is 17-20. We are now 3 games away from 500. there's not really too much to say. This was a game we came in expecting to win, and thankfully the Bulls won this game. That's all I really need to say about this team at the moment. We did what we were supposed to do, and bringing that record a little bit closer. Again, we're going to need every single victory we can get if we're going to improve in the second half of the season. We're going to need every single player to contribute. We're going to need every single game we need to perform well in. These last 2 games for the Chicago Bulls were dreadful, but this game hopefully can be the leading example of how to play for games to come. We have some winnable games coming up as well. These are the games that the Bulls need to aspire to win. And speaking of that next game, this one I think the Bulls should take very personally. The OKC Thunder. This game for the Chicago Bulls, in the last time we faced them, we blew a 25-point lead. One of the worst performances I've seen as the Chicago Bulls this season, and probably one of the worst games I've ever seen from the Chicago Bulls all the way around, was against that OKC Thunder team. We had a 25-point lead, and we blew that lead within a half. And not only that, we committed so many turnovers, so many poor decisions, and in the end, this is a game that I think the Chicago Bulls should go into looking for revenge for that game. And again, hopefully we can pull that off. OKC, again, well-coached side. They're a side that I think are doing much better than what anybody expected out of them, and they deserve the praise that they get. They're a decent team in my opinion, but I believe the Bulls are better. I really do, and it's up to the Bulls to prove it. If we go 0-2 against the OKC Thunder, or we blow another lead like we did against them before, that's a big issue. So let's see if the Chicago Bulls have that personal vendetta and go out there seeking revenge against the OKC Thunder. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Have a wonderful and safe day. Enjoy this victory. This was a good game to watch. I know Raptors were short-staffed once again. We all know that. It's not an excuse to be happy or to be satisfied with the way the Bulls played, because we played very, very well. But let's see if we can do it against the OKC Thunder in the next game. Consistency is key. Have a wonderful day. Take care and peace.